Happy birthday, my dear. How does it feel to be another year closer to the grave?
I'm 42 today, Todd. And why are you suddenly pretending to be nice? You didn't even have the decency to come home early today. I've been waiting for hours for you to show up and celebrate with me. To show me some love and respect.
Celebrate what? Your inevitable decline into old age. You really think I gave a damn about your birthday? There's nothing about you that makes me happy anymore. You're a bore and a chore.
How can you say that to me? To the woman who has been your loyal wife for 15 years, and who has stood by you through thick and thin?
Well, guess what? Those 15 years are over. Today is the day I'm leaving you.
What are you talking about, Todd? What do you mean you're leaving me?
I'm talking about divorce, Cassidy. I want to end this sham of a marriage. I'm still young and handsome, aren't I? I'm only 39, but you're 42. You're past your prime, and you're going to die before me. Do you really think I want to waste my life with someone who won't be there for me when I'm old and gray? Who will take care of me when I retire and need some help? Who will satisfy me when I need some passion?
You're insane, Todd. You're turning 40 in a few months. You're not that much younger than me. You're not that much better than me. What's gotten into you? Why are you suddenly obsessed with their ages? You never cared about them before, and you also never made me feel insecure about them before. You can't just divorce me because I'm a bit older than you. That's ridiculous.
I can and I will. I've already made up my mind, and I've already filed the papers. It's done, Cassidy. Pack your bags and get out of my house.
Are you serious? Is this some kind of sick joke?
Do I look like I'm joking? Do you think I would waste my time talking to you if I wasn't serious?
What about our daughter, Todd? What about Lainey? She's just started high school. She needs us both. How can you do this to her?
Lainey doesn't need you. She doesn't want you. She told me that she hates living with you. She's seen how old and pathetic you are. That's why she's decided to stay with me and move out with me. How do you like that?
Excuse me? She really said that? Did you talk to her about this? That you're divorcing me?
Of course I did. And she agreed with me. She wants you out of our lives. She doesn't love you anymore. Neither do I.
How could you do this to me? You talked to Lainey behind my back? And how dare you ruin my birthday like this?
Lainey is more important to me than you. She's a wonderful girl, and she deserves better than you. You're nothing but a burden to us. You're annoying me by still being here. So go away now.
I can't believe you betrayed me like this. You talked to our daughter behind my back and convinced her to hate me. How could you do that to me?
Oh, and one more thing. You're going to pay child support after we divorce.
What? You want me to pay for your daughter?
She's my daughter, not yours. You don't deserve her. I'm the one who's going to take care of her and give her a better life. So you better pay up.
What about me? Don't I get anything from you?
You get nothing from me. You're worthless to me. You, a 42-year-old woman who's lost her beauty and charm, are a burden to me and to our daughter. You have nothing to offer us.
How dare you say that to me? How could you insult me on my birthday? And you really turned our daughter against me? You're a monster, Todd. A heartless monster.
You're the monster, Cassidy. You're the one who's ruining our lives. You're dead to us.
Fine, if that's how you feel, then I'm leaving. I don't need anyone.
Good riddance. Don't ever think of us. Contact us and come back. Anyways, we're strangers to you now.
Fine, I'll never see you again. And don't you ever forget what you've done to me.
Why are you ignoring me? Why are you acting like I don't exist? I've been calling you non-stop because we have a huge problem here. A problem that involves you and your family.
If you're going to harass me with endless calls without any explanation, then I'm not going to pick up. What do you want from me after 4 years of silence, especially after what you and your father did to me? How can you have the nerve to call me now?
This is a life or death situation, and Dad needs you. He needs you more than ever. He had a terrible accident and he needs urgent surgery. He's in the hospital right now, fighting for his life. How can you be so clueless? Don't you realize that when I call you like this, it means something serious is going on? Something that concerns you and your family? Or are you too old and stupid to use a cell phone? Are you too senile to care?
If you're just going to insult me again, I can block you right now. I can make sure you never bother me again. You have no right to talk to me like that. I'm not your mother anymore, so don't call me like that. You're not my family.
That's not why I'm calling you. I'm calling you because you owe us $30,000 for Dad's surgery. That's the only reason I'm talking to you. Dad is in critical condition and he needs surgery. And the surgery costs $30,000. And you have to pay for it. Not just for him, but for your daughter too. So cough it up. Give me the money now.
Excuse me? My daughter? What are you talking about? What daughter? I don't have a daughter. I don't have any children. You're not my daughter. You're a liar and a manipulator.
Yes, your daughter. I'm your flesh and blood, your only child. Dad has no one else to rely on. He has no one else to help him. I hate to ask you for anything, you old witch, but you're the only one who has the money to help us. You're the only one who can save Dad's life. So stop wasting time and send me the $30,000. Do it for Dad and for your daughter. Get it?
Send you the money? Why should I give you anything? I don't have the responsibility to care about you or your father, you hear me? You've done nothing but hurt me. One more time, you're not my family. You're my enemies.
How many times do I have to repeat myself? Are you losing your mind? Wake up, you old hag! Dad is in danger, and he needs the surgery now. And the surgery costs $30,000. And you have to pay for it. He's your ex-husband, remember? The man you married and loved? And I'm your daughter. Remember? The girl you gave birth to and raised? So give us the money we deserve.
I don't have a daughter and I don't have an ex-husband. How many times do I need to repeat that I don't have a family? You're not my daughter. You're a stranger to me. A stranger who's trying to scam me. You and your damn dad always take advantage of me. But now, well, you can't and you won't. You'll never get a penny from me. Ever.
What? Are you out of your mind? Stop being ridiculous.
You heard me. I don't have a daughter. You're not my daughter. And I'm not giving you anything. So leave me alone.
Hold on. What the hell are you talking about? You aren't going to be going anywhere right now. Do you really think you can end things between us that easily?
You and your father were the ones that told me in the divorce that you no longer wanted me coming around either one of you anymore and that you'd be cutting ties with me, right? You would both make it clear as day to me that you no longer wanted me to be family and that I needed to stay a stranger to the both of you. Looks to me, though, that you both asked for more than you could handle from me and are no longer able to uphold your guys' end of the promise. That being, stay away from me.
What the hell are you talking about?
We had all ended things off by saying we'd all be strangers to one another 4 years ago, right? So that means that for the past 4 years and continuing on after this, you are not my daughter. And if you think that you're saying you're my daughter now, just because you need money from me is going to change that fact, it will not. I'm sorry, but I have no idea what kind of games you're trying to play right now.
What are you saying right now? This is not the time to start joking around about what happened back then. Right now, we need to be talking about how that surgery is going to cost $30,000. And when it comes to me, I don't have that kind of money. And Dad doesn't have that kind of money and savings either. You were able to get a settlement paid out to you by Dad and the divorce back then, right? You give us that money back right now so that we can afford for Dad to get his surgery.
I was given a settlement. I don't ever remember getting any sort of money in the divorce, though.
Excuse me?
It's been quite the opposite, actually. So far. I've paid for your child support for the past 3 years without getting a penny from your dad or anything else in return.
There's no freaking way, right? Child support? I don't even believe you for 1 second that you'd have the money nor the want to pay anything like that.
Well, you don't have to believe me or not regarding something like that. I just assumed that I was still responsible for you still, even after you left me. And so that's my reasoning behind paying the child support. Even after you told me you never wanted to see me again and just wanted to be complete strangers. Just be glad that I was willing to pay your father that kind of money for you. But remember that I only have to pay your father until you turn 18 years old.
Are you sure about that? Because I never heard anything from Dad about you giving him any sort of money to support me.
Remember that you've been sticking around a dad who tossed his wife out of his house on her birthday while saying horrible things about her. I'm sure he'd never tell you anything about how I've been the one paying for you to be as privileged as you are. But at this point, I couldn't care less about him telling you about all of that, or you believing me about it. Anyway, I don't think you or your father are in the place to be asking me for any more money at the moment, no matter how much of an emergency it is.
What? So you're really not going to pay that $30,000 that we need right now? Even when I'm stressed the hell out right now because of all this?
Even if you tell me that you're that stressed out right now, you have nothing to do with me in the life I currently live. It's not even like you're related to me anymore either, since you were the one who asked me long ago to forget that you were ever my daughter.
I know I said some things like that, but right now, the situation in the family has changed.
They've changed? How have they changed? I told you that I don't think of you as my daughter anymore. And as for your father, I definitely don't see him as family anymore, and have no interest in whatever's going on in his life.
You don't have to be that cold about how you really feel about us, okay?
Well, don't you feel like you were cold to me back in the day when speaking to me?
What? Whatever did I do?
Well, for starters, when I was worried about you right after the divorce, I tried texting and calling you, but you'd only ever reply by asking me to shut up and stay quiet. And since months went by of you never saying anything else to me, I gave up on you. It was after how cold you and your father were to me back then that I finally realized that you both really did not care about me being around you guys anymore.
And back then, I'm sure we were a bit cold to you about things, but that was 3 years ago. And I never imagined that Dad would get into such a bad accident and end up needing emergency surgery that cost this much. If it wasn't for his situation now, I really would not be talking to you now because I really do not need you in my life, besides for money.
Well, don't worry about explaining your actions to me, as I feel the same about you, and that's why. Now all we are to one another is complete strangers. Hence why I've said that I do not have any daughters. So tell me again what you want with me. If you don't have any other reason for talking to me right now besides wanting me to give you money for your crappy father, then I think we can stop talking to each other now.
Hold your horses. I do not like hearing you say things like that about the both of us. So, are you seriously planning to not pay for Dad's medical bills? This surgery could be the one thing saving him from dying after the injuries he sustained.
Is that so? Well, that must be heartbreaking for you then. But let me be very clear that he has nothing to do with me and my life anymore. So I really do question what the hell you're going on about right now with everything you've said today. When you have a problem like that within your small family, then you guys have to figure something out on your own without getting complete strangers involved. Please and thank you.
You're talking about your gosh dang ex-husband. Why are you acting like you never knew him right now? And how come you can't understand how much your daughter needs you to help her right now?
You should be able to understand that when a couple has a divorce, they usually regard one another as strangers thereafter, right?
That is such a far-fetched argument to make right now.
A far-fetched argument? I'm just telling you what actually happens in a divorce, Katrina. And let me ask you, this is you coming to me after years of never talking to me, all just to tell me that your father was in an accident and needs money right now. Not some form of you trying to scam me for my money. Did you really think you were going to get me to follow along with that story?
I told you that I'm telling the dang truth. Nothing about this is a scam.
Well, even if it's the truth, that has nothing to do with me. I am not in the mood to hand you guys any money. And I'm not even the one responsible for you two anymore. I've already gotten remarried now and have a family of my own that I'm very happy to be a part of. Do you think you could give me the relief of staying away from my new family and me now?
Huh? You got remarried?
I found myself a new man who loves me way more than your father ever did. And we are married now. And he brought along his kids with him, which I've grown to view as my own. Now I have some very cute kids and a handsome and kind husband who makes up my warm and beautiful family.
What the actual hell? Do you really think now's the right time to be telling your actual daughter about something like that?
The right time? You and your father are the ones who left me, so I don't care if now is a good time for you or not to be saying that. I think I have every right to say and do as I please now, since I have no ties to you guys. To be frank, I forgot about you and your father a few years ago. Besides having to pay child support, you guys wanted me to forget about the two of you. So of course I would forget that you guys ever existed.
I'm your frickin' daughter, you old hag. Yet you have the balls to tell me that you forgot about me?
Well, you only ever called me an old hag. And so that made you look like garbage to me. That I didn't need to remain in my life. I don't have the time for people like you to be my daughter after things like that.
You have to be kidding me, right? Are you really telling me the truth right now?
Of course I am. I have my own life now, and a family of my own who all love me very much as their wife and mother. I have no interest in you and your father anymore. And you are both complete strangers to me. So you will not be getting any of that $30,000 from me. That man is nothing to me now. All he is a cheating monster who cheated on me with another woman and wouldn't even pay me any sort of settlement for that. And not just that, but also divorced me on my birthday, while getting my daughter to believe that I was the problem, having me kicked out of the house for good and leaving me with nothing. And even after being kicked out of the family and the house, I was still asked to pay child support for you. And when I tried to have an even, simple conversation with you, you'd call me an old hag and ask that I shut up.
He cheated on you? Dad cheated on you. But I never heard anything about that happening either.
And I told you why that would be. That man would never say anything to you. That would make you rethink what he did to me and scare you away to my side. He made good use of you by getting full custody and then taking my money. I was really worried about you years ago when this all started, and that's why I would try and get a hold of you to tell you these things. But after time and time again of you telling me to shut up, I gave up on you for good. I was tired of trying to be a good mother to someone that only thought of me as an old hag. I get an idiot?
Mom, just wait a second. Listen to me now. If you leave me with Dad and don't help us in any way, then what's going to happen to us? I'm going to most likely end up being on my own without him.
It's disgusting to hear you call me Mom after all the time that had passed. So you can just call me Cassidy from now on, and you'll end up on your own. You are close to being 20 years old now, so I'm sure that you can make it on your own without Dad. You already know that what I've said to you is final and that you won't be getting any help from me, right? So trying to carry on this needless conversation is going to get you nowhere. All you are to me is a stranger.
But with something like this going on with Dad right now, I can't. You just help me out this once. You don't have anything going on in your life right now that you need that money for. What the hell happened to you being the nice woman that I knew you as long ago?
I can see you're beginning to get frustrated now. But you really have not begun to understand that I do not want anything to do with your father and you anymore. The whole reason this all ended up happening is because you and your dad told me to get lost and stay away forever.
What?
Well, if you have nothing else to say, then it's time for me to go.
Wait, Mom, you're taking things way too far by saying you don't want to see me as your daughter anymore? I'm asking you to please come and help me. I need your money.
No, I will never talk with you again after this. No matter how much you think you can get away with asking me for money. You are an awful daughter, and need to understand that there is nothing you can do to change my mind about that now. Goodbye forever. And if after today your life becomes a living hell, just know that you deserve every bit of it. Cassidy cut off all ties with Katrina that day. She never wanted to hear from her again. Katrina was a liar and a manipulator. She had pretended to be Cassidy's daughter and asked for money for a fake emergency. She had claimed that her father, Cassidy's ex-husband, was in a critical condition and needed surgery. But it was all a scam. Katrina just wanted to get some easy cash from Cassidy and avoid working for a living. But Cassidy was not fooled. She saw through Katrina's deception and rejected her. She severed the bond between them and freed herself from their twisted daughter. Now Cassidy could finally leave her painful past behind and look forward to a new future with her loving family.